Have you ever thought about how what people say they want and what they actually respond to might be two totally different things? Well, today we're going to deconstruct a viral video all about dark female psychology that dives right into that very question when it comes to dating. It claims to expose the hidden triggers of attraction. So let's break down the arguments. So this question right here, this is the entire foundation of the source material. It's a pretty provocative idea, right? It suggests there's this fundamental gap between a woman's conscious, logical checklist for a partner and the deeper, more primal emotions that really drive attraction.
And yeah, according to this video, this gap isn't just some small thing. It's a huge trap. The source makes this really bold claim that a lot of men fail in dating for one simple reason. They're listening to the words, but they are completely missing the subconscious emotional language that's being spoken underneath.
Okay, so to really get the video's logic, we have to start by unpacking its core concept. The source actually gives this supposed disconnect a name: the attraction gap.
So what do they even mean by that? Well, think about it like this. It's the supposed difference between a woman saying, "Oh, I just want a nice, sensitive guy," while at the same time feeling this powerful, undeniable pull towards someone who has this unapologetic confidence. The source argues that this gap, right there, is where the real dynamics of attraction are actually happening. And the source really wants to drive this point home with a pretty stark warning. It argues that for men, not understanding this gap, not knowing how to navigate it, isn't just a mistake. It literally means you're losing the game before it even has a chance to begin. So once the problem is all laid out, the source then gets into its proposed solutions. And it all starts with what it presents as the psychology of confident leadership.
So the video brings up this term it calls masculine dominance. Now, the source is super specific about its definition here. It's really careful to separate it from, forceful control or aggression. Instead, it's framed as this kind of calm, decisive leadership that creates a feeling of security, which allows a woman to relax and not feel like she has to be in charge of everything.
And this slide, this is where you can really see that idea in action. The source puts what it calls approval-seeking questions on the left side by side with confidence statements on the right. The argument is that questions like, "So where do you want to go?" actually add to what it calls a woman's mental load. But a confidence statement like, "I know a great place," well, that takes it away. And the source claims this act of just taking charge is, on a deep level, fundamentally attractive. Okay, now we're getting to a more controversial point from the source. It claims that women are subconsciously drawn to a man who has a so-called dark side. But the video is quick to clarify. This is not about being cruel or being a bad boy. It's about having this kind of controlled intensity that signals strength and, most importantly, the ability to protect. This slide really breaks down the nuance that the video is trying to get across. The ideal, it argues, is a man who is a wolf to the world, but a lamb to her. You see the contrast there. The critical part isn't the capacity for danger itself. It's the conscious choice to be gentle and protective with her. According to the source, it's that control that's so attractive. And this whole idea of control leads right into setting personal boundaries. The source is absolutely adamant about this. It says self-respect, shown by the ability to just say no, is the absolute foundation for attraction. It isn't framed as being mean, but as a sign of inner strength that other people can actually rely on. So, if that's the source's take on the psychology of leadership, what's next? Well, it moves on to explore the dynamics of actually creating desire. This whole section is all about tension and scarcity. The core principle here is pretty simple. Effort creates value. The video argues that something you have to work for, something you have to earn, is always going to feel more valuable than something that's just handed to you for free. And here's the chain reaction the source claims this whole thing sets off. Okay, so step 1, a guy is always available, texts back in a second, is always free. Step 2, this just kills any sense of mystery or challenge. Then step 3, her brain starts to see his attention as low value. And the final step, according to this logic, is that the thrill of the chase is just gone and attraction fades right along with it. But, and this is a really important but, the source stresses that this is not about faking it. It's not about playing games or pretending to be busy. It's about having a genuinely purposeful life that naturally makes your time and attention scarce. The source also talks up playful teasing as a really powerful way to build chemistry. The argument is that, look, anyone can give a compliment, but teasing, that takes confidence, a sense of humor. It creates this little spark of playful tension, and the video claims that builds attraction way faster than just predictable praise. And again, a super important boundary is set here. The source really emphasizes that for teasing to work, it has to come from a place of warmth and genuine affection. It draws a very clear line between playful banter, which it says is attractive, and just cruel mockery, which it says is absolutely not. All right, so all of this, all these different ideas, they all lead to the source's final and honestly, its most powerful concept. It's the ultimate goal that it claims ties all of these other principles together into one single core idea. The source calls this emotional ownership. And once again, it's really careful to define what it means. This is not presented as some possessive, controlling thing. It's a deep emotional state where a woman feels completely safe, protected, and claimed by a man's unwavering presence and his commitment to her. So how does the source say this is done? Well, it's through a series of actions that are all about creating this profound sense of emotional security. We're talking about things like protecting her heart as fiercely as you would her body, providing unshakable commitment, and creating a space where she feels completely understood and accepted, even her fears and her own darkness. It's about showing up consistently, especially when things get tough. And the ultimate result of achieving this, according to the source, is pretty profound. This is the moment where simple attraction supposedly transforms into this deep, unshakable loyalty and devotion. It's presented as the absolute peak of the relationship dynamic the video is describing. So there you have it. From the attraction gap to confident leadership and all the way to emotional ownership, the source presents this entire framework not as a set of tricks, but as a kind of map to fundamental human nature. We've just deconstructed the argument. Now, it's up to you to decide what you think about it.